In this video I'm going to go over a process I call tile streaming on the Game Gear. I did a video the other day on the Game Boy, but I'm not too sure how clear it kind of would have went across. Hopefully I will be able to improve that with this video on the Game Gear. So one thing to take in mind with the Game Gear is its tiles take 32 bytes, whereas the Game Boy's tiles only take 16. That's the same for the Master System as well. Its tiles take 32 bytes, so it will probably take longer to actually stream tiles, so you might want to be more conservative with doing that on the Game Gear and Master System. So one advantage of doing tile streaming is it means you can have more graphics than would fit in the 256 tile store, if you like. So by only keeping groups of tiles in there rather than whole strips of images, it would allow you to use graphics when you need to, rather than keeping things in there statically. So if we had one tile here in our tile memory, the idea is that we don't load all three of these into different tiles in tile memory. Instead, we copy them one at a time. So we would move the first one over to tile 1, and then wherever tile 1 is on the tile map on the screen, it would then be replaced with the new graphic we just streamed across. So by continually streaming different tiles across, we can change the graphical display of tile 1 on the screen, and we are still only using one tile rather than having to have all three of these in the tile memory at the same time. So as an example here, so imagine this is the tile memory, and then this is our static tile set that we want to keep in tile memory. So these will all be copied across. So this would be copied to tile 0 here. So all these images would then be put across here. And then these 4 images here, these are the images we will use to stream the 4 tiles that make up the image of each of our characters' frames here. So if we copy these 4 tiles to here and then draw our character on the screen in a number of different places, if we then stream new tiles to the tile memory here, then everywhere where this character is drawn on the screen will simultaneously be updated at the same time. In this example, by limiting the amount of graphics I put across, hopefully it will allow for a better example to get across the benefits of this. So what I'll do now is I'll show you the example running, and then I'll jump into the code quickly. So this is what I mean here. This is a load of them all drawn, and that one tile, or rather the 4 tile parts that make up each image frame, are being streamed every couple of updates. And by just doing that, it means we don't have to redraw all of the graphics on screen at the same time. We can literally just do the graphic streaming. And now if we look in the tile viewer here, you'll see exactly what's happening there. See, we've only got a couple of the tile parts in memory at any one time. So that means we have the rest of these tiles free to do as we please with maybe different characters. So rather than taking up a whole load of tiles, we are literally just using 4 here. But it's one of the examples for the usefulness of tile streaming. So I'll quickly go over the code a minute, and then we will call it a day for this video, as I just wanted to put across this. So all we are doing here, so as I said, each tile on the Game Gear takes up 32 bytes. So another thing to notice here as well is our characters are in their own separate array. That way we know exactly where the tile parts are to be copied. So for example, these 2 rows here are 1 tile. All of these 4 here would make up one of the image frames. So we need to copy 4 tiles, which are all of these bytes here, into tile memory when we change one of the frames. And that's exactly what's happening here. So in the stream tile here, we have our group image frame. Where are we? Here we go, yeah. So this will hold a number between 0 and 2, and that represents each of our images. But as we know, each image actually is 128 bytes, whereas the image is made of 4 tiles. So each tile is 32 bytes, which is why a complete image is 128. So this just initializes the group here. Initially I was going to have them moving around, but I felt that by moving them around it kind of might diminish from the pure streaming of the tiles, which is all I kind of wanted to get across, which is pretty much just this here. We need a data offset, which is where we will start copying data from this array here. So we use a shift register here to times the frame ID by 128, which is what shift left 7 does. And then we set ptile to the byte start location in the array. So for the first frame, data offset would be 0, and then for the next frame, data offset would be here, 128 bytes in. And then we can literally just use the set tile data command to copy our 4 tiles from the array point here. And that's pretty much all I want to cover here. This is the simplicity of it here. So if you had multiple images that you kind of wanted to stream like this, you might want to stagger them during the updates. So maybe you could have like a timer value set for each sort of like streaming part, so that you're not copying all of these at the same time, because that might cause slowdown. So all this part here does is we just copy our font set across, and then we just copy the first frame to the tile starting location of our graphic called Snappy, which starts as per the image here. So that's 0, 1, 2, and that's 3. So it starts at tile 3, and there's obviously 4 tile parts. So we only actually draw this once on the screen here in the init group. All of the animation is purely done by changing the graphics. So that could be, or it would be something interesting to maybe do on like a title screen, or possibly create like a fake animation on the background as if it's moving or something, by purely just streaming tile parts. So hopefully this has explained it a bit better than the Game Boy version, at least. I will post a link to this code so you can jump into it and maybe have a look at it a bit more. It's definitely worth getting your head around tile streaming though. Alright, that's it for this video. Hopefully you find it useful. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments below.